Hi guys, this is Juno and welcome back to another Summoner's War video. Today we have Siege, but before we go into Siege, I have been getting some comments on my videos asking for some guides regarding good Siege defenses. It looks like there's a strong opinion where if you don't use a LD-Nat4 or an LD-Nat5, you can't create a strong Siege defense. Truthfully, it is true that some LD-Nat4s and some LD-Nat5s, or at least with them, you can make an extremely obnoxious defense. But that doesn't mean you can't make a strong defense with regular Nat4s and regular Nat5s. I'm going to be talking about one particular Siege defense. If this gets a lot of traction, I might start talking about more of them, or at least more combinations of them that I think that are strong or that I use, or even just other people use. And I'll talk about how you could build them, why it's strong, and some pointers on what might be the reason why your Siege defense is not working, especially in the lower Siege tiers. I hope you guys look forward to this video. If you guys haven't already, please consider subscribing, because that'll be awesome. And if you guys want to support my work, I have my Patreon link in the descriptions below. So yeah. So today, the defense I'm going to talk about is the Harmonia, Skogul, and Vigor. And this is an extremely strong defense in my opinion, especially in the lower sieges. Just by the fact because it's super easy to ruin compared to everything else. However, there are some key pointers on how to be more successful with it. And for people with lower rune quality, I'll also point out things that you should focus on more rather than trying to get everything all around and bringing your entire efficiency lower. Let's first check out some examples because I do not run this defense. Yes, I say it's strong, I say it's good. However, my Vigor is being used in a different defense. And yeah, you can see that my siege is going on. It started today. I'll be doing my siege right after this video, but I am using Vigor in this particular defense right here. It is my Swift Vigor, my trap defense, and it is being used by the Lume, another great LD-Nat4 that is extremely strong in the current meta. This is where some people come in and say, hey, see, you are using an LD-Nat4 for your defense as well. And yes, I am, because yes, for every season or every 2 seasons, there will be units that are more meta than others. But that does not mean, obviously, those are the only defenses that work. There are cases and there are examples where regular Nat4 defenses and regular Nat5 defenses have success, and I'll show you guys that right now. So I'm going to use my guildmate's defense as an example. This is G3, so his rune quality will be high, but in my defense, he is a G3 player going against other G3 players. And if it's working there, it makes sense that if you're a G1 player, your defense should technically work in G1. But again, just bear in mind, this person has extremely high rune quality, and I will point out what you guys could sacrifice for some of the stats to make it work in your level. So we're gonna look at this player right here, Jan. He hasn't been coming on recently. He actually hasn't been playing Siege much recently as well. It looks like he's extremely busy, and he has 10 defenses because his rune quality could support it. I think many G3 players can support 10 defenses. It's just that only a few are really obnoxious and really strong, while the rest are a lot weaker. But it is good to have a lot of defenses if you're in a guild that is overpowering the other guild all the time, because in that case the guild will need more defenses to fill up. And obviously if people only make 2-3 defenses or 4 defenses, you guys will not have enough defenses to stack those towers. But in G3, that doesn't happen much. It only happens probably in the beginning of the season when you're matched up with G1, G2 even maybe. Later on, when you reach G3, you rarely overpower other guilds unless you're in the top 20, top 10 guild, which in that case, we will get overpowered anyways. But yeah, we're going to look at this defense right here. He is running it, and if we look at the log, just by the log, he was in G3 this entire time, and you can see it already has a record of 16-3. Man, that's even better than I thought. 16-3, holy cow. And if you look at the record, it has 133 wins and 54 losses. There you go. There's an example here that's really strong, that is getting an incredible record with pretty common units, right? Harmonia, Vigor, and Skogul. I think everybody is fairly easy to obtain. Harmonia, you could now build her, right? You could just craft her, I believe. Vigor obviously is a 3-star, super easy to get. Skogul is the one thing that you'll have to summon, so I'm sorry if you guys do not have the Skogul yet, but again, he is also not a hard unit to get. Well, at least if you get him, he's super easy to skill up because he has the nat 3 counterparts. Anyways, let's look at the runes, because the runes will tell something. He definitely has one of the highest rune quality in our guild, so it's going to be portrayed in his unit. Let's take a look at his Harmonia, Violent, Nemesis on 100 resistance. I think those two are the most important things, and you can see it's extremely tanky, plus 30k HP, plus 800 defense, and plus 126 speed. I'm not saying that you have to have this kind of rune quality, but if you are in G2 and G3, this Harmonia doesn't look too far off, right? I'm talking about G2 and G3 players, but maybe even for some G1 players, you guys look at this Harmonia and be like, hey, that Harmonia is not too hard to make. Let's take a look at the artifacts, because I think that's the big difference in lower level players to higher level players. Their artifacts are definitely different in quality, but let's check it out. There's a big one right there. Damage taken from water, minus 23%. Damage taken from fire, taken from wind. The last part, I'm pretty sure he was hoping for another damage taken from an element or something like that, like crit damage taken minus something, but he wasn't able to get that. But you could see that the first substat right there is already a huge difference compared to some other people's artifacts, but that will be a big help because Harmonia is a fire unit. Let's take a look at the other one. Here it goes. Skill 1 accuracy 20%, and you can see the base accuracy is also 26 with the runes 46%, which is pretty good because certain cases the heart magicians could act like a Hathor and start sleeping everybody. It does happen, guys. It does happen. Defense proportional to lost HP, defense up effect, own target, crit damage. If you guys look at this artifact, you guys will probably think that's actually not that great either. It's not a crazy artifact, right? At the best, it's pretty mediocre. But this one is definitely really nice artifact for this unit. But overall, Harmonia, the things you have to focus on is 100 resistance, being it really tanky. Now, for lower level players, if you can't get 100 resistance, or if you even can get it, but the tankiness just becomes too low, then maybe I'll think about not going with 100 res, or you don't have to go with Violent Nemesis. You could go with Violent Endure, trying to get that tankiness plus that resistance. It's always about the stats, not the set, but Violent is pretty crucial, so the subset can be an Endure set, trying to get that resistance you are missing. If you can't get 100, maybe bring it down to 90. It is a big difference. 100 resistance to 90 resistance is a pretty big difference. However, unless the opponent is coming in with 85% accuracy, you still have a good chance to resist those debuffs. I will try to find the best balance. Start bringing down the resistance if you can't get a really tanky Harmonia with 100 res. So start bringing it down until you get a good tanky Harmonia that you're happy with. Now, the best way to know a good Harmonia in your level is to look at your guildmates' towers, check out their Harmonias, and see how they're built. Everybody in that guild should relatively have the same rune quality, and if you could get something close to their Harmonia in tankiness, then that is good. Speed, I think around plus 100 is fine, but the faster the better, because Harmonia is an obnoxious unit, especially with the two heals technically, but obviously that will differ by rune quality. Take into account about the speed tuning as well. I do believe in this case Harmonia is going last, so everybody should be faster than plus 126, or here it'll be 224 speed. Let's take a look at Vigor. Vigor is probably a lot faster here. Look at that, Violent, Destroy. First, let's talk about set. Again, the set is probably the least important. Violent is a must in most cases, so just go with the Violent set, but the subset can be something different. If your stats are not as good with the Destroy set, you could go with something else. The Destroy just helps a lot because the Skogul does so much AoE damage. That small Destroy, if the Vigor takes enough turns, might be a big plus. However, if you're in early game, mid game, and you can't get a good enough Vigor with the Destroy set, then I'll probably hold it off and just go with a different subset to get the tankiness, to get the speed, and so on and so forth. Here, one thing that I don't really agree with, but he did this, is he went with 100 resistance, and this probably is something also pretty big that's giving him a lot of wins. People try to kill the Vigor first because they probably think that the Vigor is not on some kind of resistance build, but then they fail to land all these debuffs, especially the defense break, and then the Vigor starts to do Vigor things, give them speed buffs, anti-crit buffs, and give them a heal, apply defense break. All of this is crucial in a prolonged battle, which in a lot of cases happen for Nat 4 towers. I would probably just go for the speed and tankiness, and I would not go for the resistance too much. We're gonna take a look at a couple other guildmates defense, the same one, but we'll probably see that the Vigor for them will not be on 100 resistance. I am going to say that this is probably one of the reasons why his is getting so much success, because it is on 100 resistance. But against this Vigor, if you guys don't look at the resistance, the stats for G2, G3 players, maybe even G1, might be like, hey, I could achieve that. That shouldn't be so bad. Because again, Vigor has extremely high base speed. You only have to get like plus 150 speed. The tankiness shouldn't be also too hard as well. It looks like it's a speed HP type of build, or speed HP resistance right now. No, it is speed HP. It is doable, right? It's not too crazy. If you look at this, he should have some runes here that don't have that much speed. Yeah, 20, 24, 16. If you guys have some fast, 20 speeds here and there, it is obtainable speed with obtainable tankiness. Now let's take a look at the artifacts. Doing more crit damage, but again, he's not on high crit rate, so that's a lost cause. But it is taking less damage from water, taking less damage from wind. I think those two artifacts are crucial, but overall, not a crazy artifact. It is a good artifact, it is usable, but it is just not a crazy good artifact. Let's take a look at here. Again, more crit damage, that's a lost cause. Skill 3 accuracy, that's big because you do want to land the defense break. And skill 2 crit damage against a lost cause, attack of effect, lost cause. So truly obtainable artifacts for almost everybody, right? Now finally the Skogul. This one will be really tanky. Let's take a look. Okay, Skogul on plus 40k HP. Now, this is something different from what I've been saying. It looks like his Skogul is slower than his Harmonia. In many of my improvements, I made the Harmonia always go last because I like the Harmonia to apply immunity to the team at the end so that they don't, go out of it. But I guess it doesn't really matter if you're gonna go with 100 resistance. The Skogul is gonna move right after the Harmonia. Once he moves, he's not gonna have immunity, but even after that, he still has 100 resistance, which will support him with that survivability. Again, another violent destroy build. No brainer in these prolonged fights. Destroy is the way to go, especially if the opponent comes in with some kind of bruiser type of team. Destroy helps a whole lot. That's the reason why people take in units with destroy. I am pretty sure this tankiness will be pretty hard to achieve for a lot of G1 players. It's probably really hard. G2, G3 players could be possible. I think this is the main reason why people need to make a small number of core defenses. Don't try to, spread out your runes to 10 units. Make core 2, 3, 4 defenses and slap on your best runes so that you are able to achieve some of your highest efficiency defenses. Let's take a look at some of these runes. 37 HP, HP slot 2, that was obviously expected. 44% HP. This one with a lot of speed. Another one with a lot of stats, and another 21 HP. So in the end, it doesn't look crazy. There is some that has a lot of HP, 37 and 44. Aside from this rune, it looks like all runes are pretty much obtainable. Not too hard. Let's take a look at the artifacts. So damage taken from wind. Man, I think it's trying to deal with the coppers. I'm pretty sure it's trying to deal with the coppers. Lucian is definitely not going to be amping. Maybe even the Lucian actually. Lucian could amp the Skogul if it comes in with the Marinade. If it comes with the Marinade, let's say the Lucian hits for like 18, 20k per card. Yeah, that's 60k. So definitely trying to deal with the Marinade Lucian, right? And minus 20%, I think it will do the job. Damage dealt on wind, damage dealt on water are pretty good. I will try to reroll the crit damage if this is only being used on Skogul. I don't know. I'm not the owner of that account, but there's that. Finally, this one, defense property to lost HP 50%. But other than that, I think everything else is pretty much obtainable. Now, for lower leveled players, again, if it's hard for you to get the resistance, I think resistance is really important on Harmonia and Skogul. If it's hard for you to get it, please, go for that Endure set. Even with the Endure set, if you can't get 100 resistance, I will still stick with the Endure set, but try to find the tankiest build with that set. because I still think if the opponent does not bring in, high accuracy units, higher the resistance still helps, even though it's not 100%. I'm even debating myself if I should, start using my vigor in this defense, because my LD defense, in comparison to this has a 16-3 record. Where is it? 18-4 record. So it's still getting wins right now. It's still getting wins right now because it was 16-3. And then if you look at my defense on this one right here, look at that, 7-17. That's a big difference, right? So maybe I would scrap that top defense and make that into a Harmonia, Vigor, Skogul, although I'll have to then create a second Harmonia, because you can see it's being used right here on my Harmonia Kinky Fae. But that is not important. I'm just, trying to convince myself if I should do it or not. Let's take a look at another guildmate's defense that's doing the same thing and see how it's doing. Okay, here's another one. So this one is doing a lot worse. 2-6. It's been created this season, so the record is reflecting what it exactly has. If you look at it, the Harmonia is pretty similar in tankiness, missing like 2,000-3,000 HP, but it is much faster. It has less accuracy. The artifacts taking less damage from water is there, but it is lower than what the other guy had. And also this one, not that bad. I think this artifact is actually better than the other one. It's just that he is missing the accuracy, so maybe it's not acting like a Hathor, it's not landing those sleeps. But the Harmonia looks pretty good. The Vigor, oh, I was gonna say obviously it's not on 100 resistance, but he went for the 100 rest. But I do think this Vigor is fairly squishy, so this is the reason why I don't like the Vigor on 100 res. If you can't get that tankiness with the 100 res, but he went with Violent Will on a resistance slot 6, which was also different from the other guy who went with HP slot 6. I think this is prone to die from pretty easily from a Marinade Illusion or even just a Illusion, and you can see damage taken from wind is pretty low. It is taking less damage from water and just more recovery, which is a lost cause, but it is trying to get more accuracy. Overall, you can see the rune quality of it is much lower, less tankier, slower, but on 100 res. But even that difference is causing it to lose a lot more. It's not on destroy either. The Skogul, less tankier, 100 res on a destroy set though. Tanky, but again, slow. I think this Skogul is fine. But it's probably a Lucian food. If it's not okay, it does have some damage taken from wind artifacts, 14%, but is that enough? This is 44k HP, 45k maybe, yeah, 45k HP, with 33% from this base HP. That's another 4,000. It's almost 50k. And with Marinade again, if the Lucian hits for 60k, maybe it could survive, maybe, but that Vigor is not surviving, so I think that's a big issue as well. This artifact on this side looks pretty bad too. Okay, there's this one right here, and it has a 6-5 record. Again, it was only created this season or last season, 6-6, but it has an even record. That's still not bad. This is G3 again. If you look at the runes, you can see that it went for that Endure set to get that 100 res, and it's a little more tankier on the defense side, but HP is a little lower. Skogul, again, went with the Endure set, right, to get that resistance, and then finally the Vigor, not on the 100 res. This is more like it, but it has the tankiness on a destroy set. So I like this build much better, and you can see that it is doing better compared to the other one we just saw. It has a positive record on this season rather than the other one having a 2-6 record. I mean, it doesn't mean that one is particularly stronger than the other because it is early in the season. This defense might have been put up after the opponent has used all the counters. I don't know, but I just know from the first one we saw, there are rune differences. There is a rune efficiency difference and a build difference that is causing disparity in records. But overall, you can see what they're focusing on, and it is getting wins in certain cases. We have another one right here, 6-6. Let's take a look at it. 8-14, not a crazy record. It hasn't been up for a long time. Violent Will, 100 resistance, pretty fast. It looks like everybody's going for that 220 range speed. Vigor, this one also on 100 res, but this one did get the tankiness, much tankier, right? Let's take a look at the artifacts on these. Doesn't have anything that's taking less damage from wind. I think that's a problem. I think it needs to survive from Lucians. If Vigor survives, that's when everything gets really obnoxious. Another Violent Destroy, really tanky 100 res. Damn, this is just doing a whole lot of damage on everybody. So this is a little prone to, I think, Marinate Lucians, because I mean, Marinate Lucians, if these two die, Harmonia can't really do anything by herself, right? I found an interesting one where this one has a positive win rate, 4-2. 4-4 in total. Well, right now it's 4-2. And if you look at the runes, it's a little different because, first of all, Harmonia is not on 100 res, and it doesn't look particularly tanky in my opinion. The Skogul is extremely slow, but on Destroy. And finally, the Vigor is on Violent Revenge. Again, tanky, but not on 100 resistance. I think Vigor not being on 100 resistance is fine. As you can see, it is working in certain cases. I mean, it got a 4-2 record right now. I'm pretty sure it will get lower and lower as we are in G3. Even the rune quality like this, you do see that it is getting wins. Now, another easy way for you to have a more successful defense is to talk with your guild and ask, hey, let's make a unified defense in some of these towers. When we start putting up these defenses, obviously we're not going to be mixing up Nat4 defenses on one tower. We collect all the Harmonia, Vigor, Skoguls, and then we stack it in one tower. By doing this, we will force the opponent to use all their counters and then start coming in with more riskier comps, which results in wins for certain defenses. I know it's much harder for people in lower guilds because they're less, I guess, active is the right word to say it. The guild leaders don't take initiative to say, hey guys, let's fill up this tower with this, and I hope everybody builds it by this day. Maybe as a member, it is better for you to try and, you know, speak up and say, I want to get more wins, I want to be more active in Siege. How about I have all these units, how can we fill up a tower with this? It's worth a shot. Sadly, if those opinions don't get, you know, accepted, then I think it is a healthy thing for you to try and find a better guild. Higher level guild obviously will have, you know, other criterias, but if you do get past that, if you get accepted, you definitely learned a lot more from everybody there, and you get better experiences, in my opinion. I mean everybody has different opinions in the game, everybody experience different things, but that is just my thought. But anyways, that was it guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I think his rune quality, the first guys, it has crazy rune quality, definitely some insane records, but like I said, this is G3, and I think for a G3 player, that is something that we should expect. It's not even that crazy in some G2 players' eyes. Obviously in top 10, they don't even use this defense because they'll be like, hey, stop using that, you know, just follow what we have, because everybody in that guild in those guilds are super duper active. So I'm pretty sure if every 30 people is playing, I think you'll have more than enough defenses to stack. But this is different in even in lower G3, there are some people being inactive. Yes, everybody has their own life. Obviously, gaming shouldn't be your life, I think, unless you're making a lot of money out of it. We can't really say anything about that, and that includes me as well. I just want to let you guys know, it works. The rune quality that you still saw today, especially the first guys, does not represent what you should have. It should be something that you should strive for. Like, try to get as close as possible. Yes, it will be hard, but, I mean, that's the point of the game, right? It's hard. That's why you want to grind more, you want to get better, and that's how Comp to Us makes you spend money. But that was it guys, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.